All right, so these are the trim tabs. These are the Ocean version that have the zincs on them. This side appears to be the oldest. It is in the fully up position right now. However, you can tell that it is not fully retracted. So this one is definitely faulty. If you can tell probably by some of the rust marks on here as well. So to replace these, we're just going to remove these 13mm bolts. Same up here at the top as well. And then gonna splice in these wires for the new actuator. Now the problem with these is they're pretty notorious for both to sit in the water. The salt water gets inside these seals here through the bottom and through the top, and water gets in there and rusts the motor. So it's pretty common failure. Now this one actually looks like an original one. The one on the other side has actually been replaced before, but it doesn't work at all. So that's a little surprising. So we got a new set for both sides, so we'll be back in business. So here's the trim tab actuators that we purchased. You can buy them individually, so if you only have one side that's broken, but basically inside you'll come with the actuator, the cable, the hardware, and if you already have the Deutsch connectors, you can plug them in and wire them up, but we're probably just going to end up splicing these ones in. So, but this is what they look like. All right, we got the bolts removed from the top, bolts removed from the bottom. We actually had to take off one bolt through the tab just so we could get this bolt to slide out. But yeah, not too bad. So now we'll just take off the next 3 Phillips here and find those wires. Now once you have the screws taken out of this bracket, I don't think that it's just going to fall right off. It's got some marine sealant behind it. You should be using 4200 for this application. So you know, if you need to slide a screwdriver through this hole and kind of work it from side to side, it'll come off eventually. Well, the plan was to use the fish tape, but it ended up being a little bit too tight for the hole, so we just worked it back and forth a little bit so I could slide this out a little bit better. So we're actually going to pull it long, splice it probably about 16, 17 inches from the actuator itself, and we're going to push this / pull it from the other side back through and then reseal it. All right, so we cut the cable, strip back some of the insulation that was in there, and now we're just gonna strip these wires and splice it in. So we're gonna do the same thing on the new one. Just trim the outer shield back. We're gonna trim off this insulation. We're gonna strip these wires and match it up with our other one. Again, I'm using those butt connectors that have the shrink tubing on them, so we'll heat them up when we're done so they're real nice and tight, and then we'll tape them up. All right, so we finally got these shrunk up. The wind was giving us a little trouble there with our lighter, getting these all melted down, but they look pretty good now. So we're just gonna wrap it with tape and then pull it through real slow. So we'll try this again. So our little staggered method worked. So what we gotta do now is clean up some of this old silicone that's on here, scrape it off. We'll put the bracket on, and then we'll get this thing squared away. So make sure you slide your cord through before you connect it, or you're gonna have to do it twice. So just a quick reminder. All right, to seal these things up, just take a razor blade, just go real light, and this stuff will come right off. Now, if you're going to be resealing this up, which you should be using 4200 3M product. Now, if these were below the water line, you want to be using 5200. So above 4200, below 5200, and you'll be good to go. So there we are. We got everything all buttoned up. It is sealed real tight, and we're ready to rock.